Happy hump day, ladies and gentlemen. I hope your Wednesday is off to a great start. If you can, slide your finger over to the thumbs up button as we are going to discuss today's monster NBA DFS slate because we got 22 teams, 11 games in play, back-to-backs all over the place, good plays all over the place. It should be a fun, exciting, and might I even add, stressful one.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I mean, we got late games, we got early games. We don't even have half the injury news we're probably going to get. So, as always, it's another day in the life of NBA DFS.
And we are 1 week away from baseball starting. So we're actually going to do a First Thoughts baseball video today, too.
Sweetness.
I know that's never something that you hate talking about.
Never.
So, all right, guys. Today's show brought to you by our good friends over at jazzsports.ag. If you're a sports bettor and you want to try out a new site, they've been in business for over 20 years. The promo code is 5PACK. We're talking same-day payouts, everything like that. If you make an initial deposit with them by using the promo code 5PACK, we will give you a free 5-pack membership. Length of the 5-pack membership depends on what kind of deposit you make. So that is there for your taking. And as far as our promotions from the 5-pack today, it's $20 rebate to brand new monthly customers. We are 1 week away from MLB. Monthly customers get both sports. So if you want to double dip on basketball and baseball, we will continue to cover both of these sports or start covering both of these sports in a week. Today's a great day to sign up. Get most of your first month for free with a $20 rebate, and we'll be all set and ready to go as we start pounding on those MLB GPP wins starting as soon as a week from now.
Let's get it, man. I'm excited to break this down with you. I'm excited to do that MLB. I'm excited to do a drafters. We got a lot of things going on.
All right, so let's start with the cash lock, and I'm going to go with kind of a boring play for the day. A young man, 4K center position, Brooklyn Nets, goes by the name of Nicholas Claxton. He should be relatively popular tonight based on early ownership projections. One of the things that we like about him is that he's game script proof. Like, you could definitely see DeAndre Jordan maybe seeing lesser minutes today. You know, they got some more veteran players. With them being shorthanded like this, I think he is as safe as anybody on their roster to play good minutes under all circumstances tonight, which is good. I can see we're hard and bust today. Obviously, I liked Brown yesterday when he was terrible. I mean, everybody liked Brown. That's why he was like 85% owned, but still, like, he was awful. He barely played. He actually played less than he does sometimes when Kyrie's around. Claxton should be game script proof. He's coming in as relatively chalky. He's only 4K. This is a guy that needs about 15 minutes in order to hit some version of value on this price tag. He's a DFS monster. The Nets are still shorthanded. There's a lot to like right here.
Yeah, a ton to like here at 4K. We talked about it like after our members only video. There aren't a lot of like under 4K guys that are in play on this slate as of now. So right at that price point, going to play nice minutes, potential for like big minutes, on a back-to-back, depending on how this game plays out. He looks like just a plug-and-play option in all formats.
Yeah, you got these guys that don't run full minutes, but when they do, like Robert Williams, your boy from Boston, even your guy from Cleveland, JaVale McGee, when he plays minutes, he puts up big points. Claxton is right in that same mold.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving along. You want to talk about Pascal Siakam. I think one of the things I know, because we could have moved him to long shots, he's currently projected for like 1% ownership. While that seems a little on the low end for me, I think he might be a little higher as the day progresses. He's clearly getting slept on today.
What's nice, I didn't even realize, and obviously, if I thought about it, I would have, but my long shot and GPP play are both from the same game, which matches up well, and that's not intentional at all. So as far as Siakam goes, man, seems like he's kind of falling out of the public's favor, maybe falling out of Coach Nick Nurse's favor a little bit, but he's still a damn good DFS player, a damn good real-life player. His price is cheap at 7,300. He basically walked into 43 DK points last time out, and in a game that I expect to be competitive here. I know Toronto's been shitty, but they catch Denver on the tail end of a back-to-back. I like Siakam here. I think he's got a nice 40-point floor with a 50-plus ceiling. At 7,300, I'll take that all day. What's your thought?
I like this game. You have Toronto in desperation mode. There's all the rumblings. Kyle Lowry might be out of there. They are, I think, right now like the 11th seed, so they wouldn't even be in the playoffs after what is, I believe, also an 11-game losing streak. So this is it right here. I feel like this is emotionally perhaps a last stand tonight. We got to win a game and start vibing again if we want to be a team that even considers the playoffs in our future, because Toronto's better than their record. If they're at full force, let's just say COVID wasn't a thing and we had Lowry, Van Vliet, OG, Powell, and Siakam all able to play every single day, this is still, for my money, one of the better teams in the East. We kind of messed around a little bit today and talked about some of the teams that, they look terrible right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're a lot better in a couple of weeks. Toronto's in that mold, but they need a dub now.
Like now. Like, so we've talked about that with a bunch of teams recently. The Toronto's been doing that all year. They've gone through a couple stretches where they've been really good and a couple really, really bad stretches. I think they're very live to win this game. I mentioned the other day that I liked Houston to beat Toronto. Kind of a perfect storm of Toronto, obviously not playing well. They were on a back-to-back coming off another game where they were, road chalk in Cleveland. I feel like they've hit their rock bottom now. And I actually like them tonight. I think they win this game tonight. Only like a 1.5, 2-point spread, which also tells me something.
So Denver, and this is something that we've been talking about for a while now, with no Jeremy Grant, with an aging Paul Millsap, no Gary Harris, they've just become all offense and no defense. They don't have any real plus defenders on their team. Like, Jokic is underrated from a defense perspective in like the sense that he gets blocks and steals and has a lot of tips, but he is not a great defender. Jamal Murray is more offensive oriented. I like Will Barton, but he's not Kawhi Leonard. And Paul Millsap's about 100 years old. So like they are a team I have no issue taking guys against.
Yeah, really cheap for Siakam. I'm surprised he's like not getting any love. I know people are sour on him, but I mean, listen, he played like a bunch of minutes last time out and had a nice game. So I expect at least that today.
Yeah, so he could actually be considered the long shot for the day, and the guy that will bring up under your long shot could move into GPP play. But, you can play either of them, play them together, whatever.
No doubt.
All right, so let's move over to a guy that I think most people seem to like today. Definitely a guy getting a lot of love as far as projections and ownership are concerned. That's Halliburton of the Sacramento Kings. By now, we all know Marvin Bagley's been out for a little bit here, and he's kind of moved into a little bit more of a solidified role as they can't really go big and run like Bagley and Holmes next to each other. This kid's really good. Now, he hit kind of that mid-year rookie wall, and you and I kept saying, like, I can't play this guy because he was chalk, and he wasn't succeeding. I'm like, I need to see him have that good game. He's got his mojo, his vibe, his game, his confidence. It seems like it's back. He's coming off a real big game. I love that for him. He appears to be a building block for the Kings moving forward. Harrison Barnes, Buddy Hield. You mentioned this. It's not crazy to think that one of these two dudes is on the move by the time this game starts, as they're both been like heated up in trade talks. This is an excellent game for DFS. Expect Halliburton to be chalky today. So, maybe a slightly better cash game play, but if a guy succeeds, So play him anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't even going to bring up that point for Halliburton, but I think it's maybe fits for him more than anyone else. All of a sudden, it's not likely that, the trade happens like right before or during or whatever. But I can tell you that Halliburton's not going to be a guy that gets traded. And if they do deal Barnes or Hield or one of those guys is out or whatever happens, I mean, all of a sudden at 5,700, Halliburton becomes like the top play on the slate. He's already a really good play, like assuming all those guys play at 5,700 in a good spot against Atlanta. Another guy that just looks like a rock solid look in all formats in my eyes.
He's good too. And even though I think Anthony Edwards will end up being the rookie of the year when it's all said and done with Ball out for the rest of the year, Halliburton, maybe that's a spark for him. Maybe like this could be his award still, because he was one of the guys that was right there early before hitting kind of that minor injury, and then he didn't play well for a couple weeks right there. I'm willing to bet that he's got his game back and his confidence back. I think he hit 4 threes last game. Sometimes a young player like this just needs to see the ball go through the hoop on a consistent basis for one game, and then all of a sudden he's going to remember, yeah, I'm pretty good at this game.
100%.
All right. Speaking of this game, the flip side of it, my long shot for the day is Bogdan Bogdanovic. Talk about guys falling out of favor. He got back from that long injury and he was chalk, and was just playing like, hot garbage. Well, he started to creep back into viability the last couple days. He had a monster game, I think like a 37-pointer, and then sandwiched in between two okay games of around 20 points. The power forward position today is weak. We did kind of some sample building on the members only video, and it helps a lot to be able to pay down at small forward today. Now, it's possible we get better options as the day progresses, but I like this game for DFS. I like the idea of the late night hammer. I have an even more affinity to play Bogdanovic if we find out Gallinari is out today, who is currently listed as questionable. They did get Hunter back last game, so I could definitely see if Gallo plays today. I may not end up here. But if Gallo's out, all of a sudden I like Bogdanovic more for all formats, and I almost feel good enough about playing him in cash games. He's very inexpensive based on his talent. And while I don't care about stuff like this, I know some people do. He's going back to where he used to play. If that's something you like, hey, it's right there for the taking.
Yeah, don't like him because of that, but certainly doesn't hurt me. I mean, I feel like he's got to have this game circled. They want him to play well. I mean, they want him to get his tonight. Like, these guys are all human. I'm sure this is something that's standing out to him. You know, it only goes back to Sacramento now once a year. But putting that aside, he's 4K. He's starting to play better. You know, Gallo could potentially be out. Hunter's back, but far from playing full minutes. And a big thing is he's much better than this, 4K price tag implies. He hasn't played great this year, but starting to play better. He's got one upside game in there. I think he's got like a 20-point floor here and, 30-point ceiling. I like him quite a bit at 4K.
Yeah, even better if Gallo's out. So if Gallinari doesn't play today, I might even just play him in cash games and rock and roll with it. So how much of a long shot, that kind of depends for me. If Gallo plays, I have more reservations.
For shizzle.
All right, next up. So this is a guy that we were kind of alluding to. So he was a monster for us last night. And I think he was like 73 points at like 5% ownership. An absolute monster. There's so much to like about Jokic basically every single day. And I think a big thing here is, you kind of mentioned it, like this game's got a 1-point spread or 2-point spread. Like, you expect it to be close. I don't overvalue this, but he's now the front runner for the MVP award. And look, maybe he cares about that. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. He's a pass first guy. So it's not like I think of him as like a selfish stat getter, but he can't hurt, right?
Can't hurt. Another team that needs wins also.
Yeah, I mean, the Western Conference is like tighter than a drum. So everybody needs to keep winning.
Yeah, as far as games, though, I do expect this game to be really competitive. Jokic has been balling. And the big thing I want to talk about here is, we mentioned Nicholas Claxton. You've got a couple other guys that are going to be really popular centers in that same price range, a little bit more expensive than Claxton, excuse me. It gets you onto a different build and another stud that, a lot of people like, but just won't play. And again, we saw it last night, the MVP push in a game I expect to be really competitive. I like the idea of running like a Jokic Siakam mini stack.
He's awesome. I mean, look through his game log. This is just getting me back to my new theme. So for many years, you guys have heard me whine about in baseball, they need to have the automated strike zone. My new whine about basketball is DraftKings needs to up the price of the studs. Luka, Giannis, and Jokic all need to be more expensive. Like with Harden, I get it. He's not more expensive because when Kyrie's around, that's about who he should be because, there's another star out there. But like Doncic, Giannis, and Jokic, like I want to have to think about this more. Like Jokic should be 12K and so should Giannis. And it's just, he's way too cheap for what he offers on a daily basis. It's really hard to get away from the stars and scrubs build these days.
For shizzle.
And right now, Jokic is ranked as the 4th highest owned stud among the Doncic, Giannis, Harden guys. And I like all those guys too, but that's why he falls into a little bit more of the long shot. I had him at 5% last night. So on a much smaller slate, I can't imagine, especially when Giannis officially gets ruled in and everything like that, that he gets a ton of love today.
No, I mean, I got to imagine he's like right around that 5%.
Maybe 10, but still, even in the case, like that's way too low owned for who he is. And Doncic has been red hot. Giannis has been good for a long time, but like Jokic just continues. Like, look through his game log. They're just filled with 70-point games.
Yes, sir.
So, all right, that's what we got for today. Wishing everybody the best of luck. I'm sure we will get a ton more news, and we're going to be talking baseball here in just a little bit.
Thanks a lot, guys.